Welcome to Designing Dialogue, leveraging technology for cultivating inclusion and belonging in classroom critique. I'm Jenny Kowalski. I'm currently at Lehigh University, and my collaborator is Guido at Tyler School of Art and Architecture. So Critmos is a digital tool that we're creating. It's designed to enhance participation in classroom critiques within the actual physical space of the classroom. So peer critique is a tool that's used in art and design classrooms for both formative and summative assessment. And although some forms of critiques are dominated by the instructor and it feels very top down, a framework for critique that really encourages peer discussion and establishes a collaborative environment can help to foster metacognitive skills and really help students feel like they belong within the classroom environment and within the subject matter environment.
I'm going to jump in and talk a little bit about how this all happened. So as Jenny mentioned, Jenny's at Lehigh and I'm at Tyler School of Architecture, which is part of Temple University. But when we began this research, Jenny was with me at Tyler, and that allowed us to work with teams of students across the university. It was a very unique collaboration, and the interdisciplinary collaboration everyone is kind of searching for. And it also reflected how applications are made in the real world. So it was a really great experience, both for our students from the computer science and technology team, as well as our student from our design studio at Tyler. We began working with Sophia Maza at Tyler first. We spent a lot of time building out our architecture of this app, working on some user flows. How does this app work for a faculty versus a student? Building out wireframes, and then working with the computer science and technology students on actually producing a working prototype that we'll be testing out this semester. And we did all of this work together in Figma. Really wonderful feedback from both sides of students who really had not had that experience to work with the folks that they'll be working with professionally when they're done their studies. This is one of the outcomes, which is our full design system for the app, and you'll get to see how this actually works in action.
So essentially, it's based on the concept of conversational moves. And the idea is that in a classroom critique, so students have their work pinned up on the wall in a very traditional way. They're sitting around, they're looking at the work. It's very much in the physical environment. They have their phones with them. So this is functioning similar to an app like Kahoot, where students are engaging with material that is off their phone, with prompts that are on their phone. Students would have their work pinned up, and then each of the students would be randomly assigned prompts on their cell phone that they would be able to read, and they'd be encouraged to execute those prompts during the natural conversation. So in the process of a critique where you're looking at work, commenting on work, suggesting things for the work, students are given topic-based critiques to bring up in conversation. So for instance, we can see here in the middle of this critique, a student might look at this card that says, refer back to your peers' work from a previous class and share how the previous round of work may have been more successful. So this gives the students something to say, so you avoid those awkward silences of, just kind of looking blankly at the work, and it gives them a topic to focus on and to find something throughout the critique session at some point within the class. They can say that about the work in front of them. And it really encourages students to be engaged in this conversation. And through it all, when they complete something, they can check off and say, okay, I did bring this up within the class. It'll encourage the students. And the idea is that by fostering these in-person conversations, by giving students the tools to engage with one another, with their peers in this critique, that they will gain a better sense of belonging within the environment, and it'll help them look at work critically and speak critically about their work and other work.
One thing I'm really excited about is often we hear the I likes and cool, and a lot of times it's because students don't want to upset a friend that might be in class, and it's so nice to be able to say, well, but I wasn't the one who said I had to say this, it was here. And so I think it's going to really help kind of make the conversations deeper about the work. This is a little bit of how this works. And so this is the faculty to student. So the faculties are going to set this up in the back end, which we'll be seeing in a second. And it's really easy to launch during the class. Faculty can either launch it from the desktop app, or they can do it on their on the web version as well on their phones. And when they hit begin critique, it's going to have a pre-selected body of prompts that the faculty has selected prior to the class. They hit begin critique, and 2 prompts randomly are going to be sent to the students' phones. So students will be logged in themselves. They get these 2 prompts, and they just sit there on their phones with the prompts. And like Jenny said, they can use them anytime during the class. If it is something that they don't feel comfortable talking about, or maybe they just don't completely understand the prompt, they can pass, and there'll be enough other prompts that they'll get another random prompt sent. It won't duplicate the prompts. More than one student won't get the same prompt unless they get put in the prompt bank multiple times if you want that. But by default, it won't duplicate prompts. And this is a little bit of how editing the prompt bank works. So as I mentioned, the faculty are able to do this on their desktop, just makes it a little bit easier to have larger screen to work with. You can filter by category. So Jenny and I have preloaded categories and some critique questions that match each category. So for someone who wants to quickly kind of launch this and get it going, they'll be able to just select a category. They have the prompts. They can hit the little plus button and add it to their prompt bank. And once it's in that prompt bank and they hit begin critique, it just pulls randomly from those. On the student side, they're going to be mostly using it on their phones. And so the students will log into their phones, they'll be able to select their course, and then once begin critique is hit, they get those 2 random prompts. They can pass, like we mentioned, and they'll get those encouraging comments back to them once they execute it. And again, just to be clear, they're executing it out loud. And so this isn't about rubrics. It isn't about counting them. This is really an encouragement tool. So we really want this to be, in some ways, low stakes, because we know a lot of students fear being part of these conversations. And so we don't want students to feel like they're being judged or graded on this. We also think this is going to have a lot of value for all types of learners. So we're thinking a lot about our English as a second language learners who might need a little more time to read and think about what they want to say, or just some students that might, have a little bit of anxiety and don't necessarily feel comfortable. It gives them more time to prepare to be part of the conversation.
So our goal is to have the test version of the app completed production this semester in the spring of 2023. And then we're hoping to pilot testing the app within the classroom. We're hoping to do a study looking at how students feel as a part of the classroom, if they feel more engaged, if they feel like critiques are more successful, if they feel like they belong in the classroom through the use of this tool. And we're really hoping to develop this further. So we're looking into potentially funding. We're looking into potentially exploring integrating it with AI tools to still foster that human to human conversation. We're looking at how the app might expand beyond the classroom or how it could be used potentially for individual work in the future. So we're looking at a lot of ways that we could build on this base concept once we can test the effectiveness of this tool.
Thank you all so much. We're really excited to hear your feedback and hope that you all are excited about this tool as well and have some ideas and feedback to share. Thanks.